Right now, America is being trolled by an 18-year-old psychopath, and he has a front row seat to the entire show. Everything this guy did was designed to get media attention and drive the biggest divide possible by placating to every talking point the anti-gun far left has. He left an 180-page manifesto. That's a book. He even wrote it in question and answer form like he was being interviewed, and he made it a point to answer every question you'd think to ask someone who just slaughtered people in cold blood and hit every single possible racist talking point, and then says all of his radicalization happened online during COVID. He explains why he chose the weapons he used, using every single anti-gun buzzword used by the anti-gun lobby. Hell, it sounded like they wrote it for him. Then he literally scribbles every racist word or phrase he could think of on the guns he used, and then to top it all off, this walking human fart of a lunatic live streamed the entire massacre. He packaged together an online mass shooting starter kit, gave it to the media and said, "Make me famous and make some more mass shooters." And the media said, okay. On May 13th, 2022, nobody knew who the hell this kid was. But by May 14th, he was the most famous person in the world. And by May 15th, we knew every thought and desire he had because they were combing through his 180-page written self-interview like it was some long-lost text from the Communist Manifesto. He created a snuff film and it got passed around like it was the missing Ray J and Kim Kardashian sex tape. It's not like the footage was caught on surveillance cameras. He live streamed it. Now I can't go on the internet without seeing videos of him in court. Articles about what we know about the shooter, who is his mama, what did he have for breakfast that day. And then to make themselves feel better about sensationalizing a clout-chasing psychopath, the media sprinkles a couple of videos about the people who were actually killed. We gave him exactly what he wanted. The same thing I've been saying for 9 years now. Every time there's a mass shooting, for the next month you'll hear the shooter this, the shooter that, his family this, his life that. But when somebody stops a mass shooting from happening, all you hear is this. Why wouldn't an insecure, unstable young man who believes he's invisible to the world and has nothing to live for, but wants to leave his mark on the world before he goes so that he can validate his life and make the world stand up and take notice of him, not commit a mass shooting? The media practically turns these guys into celebrities overnight. I give you 10 seconds to rattle off the name of the most recent mass shooters in the last decade. If you're able to mention even one name to yourself, that's insane. What's the name of the guy who had a carry permit who tackled the guy who shot Gabrielle Gifford? Name the guy in the mall who had a concealed carry permit and stopped and deterred the guy who shot the mall up in Oregon. Or the name of the person who shot and stopped the kid who tried to shoot up the movie theater a couple of days after Newtown happened. Not one of these people's names are identifiable within 10 seconds, but I'm forced to learn the inner details of these sociopaths' lives who try to amass the highest body count. He wanted to solidify himself as the architect of how to become more famous than ever by committing mass shootings, and it worked. This guy was nothing more than a copycat. His 180-page manifesto was mostly plagiarized from another mass shooter's manifesto and video of a mass shooting that he only knew about because, of course, the media sensationalized and made that guy famous. He literally says that the previous shooter's live stream is what started everything you see here. He wanted infamy. He just used his newfound racism to justify his actions. This was about him and making himself famous. He saw a playbook and copied it. Nothing he did was original. Nothing he said was original. He simply wanted to amass the highest body count using the most infamous gun so that the media would talk about it, making him infamous for eternity. Because now, anytime there's a mass shooting, his name will come up, and he decided not to kill himself because he realized it would be better to live to see and experience the fame instead of dying. Now he'll end up in prison and be taken in and protected by the other racist gangs in prison who hate black people and praise him for what he did. Congratulations to America's mainstream media. You did it again. Made another sociopath lowlife famous for killing a bunch of people and inspired future shooters in the process, especially now considering we are living at the height of the clout chasing generation where people eat laundry detergent for views. This is no different, except the clout chaser is an evil psychopath who is chasing clout with a gun in his hand. I promise you, if he thought no one would talk about him, mention his name, or watch his disgusting little live snuff stream, he wouldn't have done this because his motivation was attention and we just gave it to him in spades and then wonder why we keep having these copycat mass shootings. And of course, right on cue, here comes the anti-gun lobby and their anti-gun politician patsies exploiting this shooting to push more gun control.
We have some of the toughest laws in America on the books here, but the guns are coming in from other states. Or the enhanced magazine, which is exactly what happened here, the high-capacity magazine that led to the slaughter of people in my hometown.
It seems like there are those that believe owning a gun is more precious than the sanctity of human life.
And short of that, we will protect the right to free speech, but there is a limit.
Here's the irony. The shooter said he chose to carry it out in New York due to its strict open carry gun laws, which would make it harder for someone to stop him. And irony gets even worse. Right now, there's a case in the Supreme Court named New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, Inc. versus Bruin, where the Supreme Court is deciding if New York's denial applications for concealed carry licenses for self-defense violates the Second Amendment. Anyone want to take a guess how the mayor of New York feels about a potential ruling that would make it easier for New York citizens to carry guns for their safety? Especially after a mass shooter just shot up a grocery store in New York because he knew the likelihood of someone carrying a gun was low, and if someone was, they'd be likely limited in their capacity to deal with him because of New York's gun laws. And I quote, "We should be very afraid," Mayor Eric Adams said. In a densely populated community like New York, this ruling could have a major impact on us. This isn't rocket science. Shooters like these are cowards, looking for easy targets. That's why he didn't run down the block trying to shoot street dudes in that area. He knows the street dudes in the hood don't care about New York's gun laws. They all have guns with as many rounds as they want, and they wouldn't call the police. They'd leave them out there in the street to rot, and instead of watching a live stream of him killing innocent people, we'd be watching the death of a loser. Body armor and AR-15 doesn't make you immortal. When you have other people shooting back at you, it changes everything. You go from, "I'm gonna kill everyone in this place," to, "Oh shit, I'm being shot at." And that shifts the focus away from killing unarmed innocent people to the people who are actually shooting at you, giving time for the unarmed people to get to safety. That security guard may have lost his life, but because the shooter had to deal with the security guard shooting at him in the first place, there's no telling how many lives he saved just by having a gun there. Long story short, gun control creates victims, not safety. You know, we talk a lot about empowerment in this country, except for when it comes to the Second Amendment. However, I can't think of anything more empowering than having the most effective tool to protect you and your family. So help me spread this message by liking and sharing this video with everyone you know. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because the Second Amendment, when it said militia, it wasn't talking about the government. It was talking about you. Also, if you want to know where to find the I'm the Militia shirt and merchandise, click the I'm the Militia link in the description section of this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, make sure you hit that bell symbol.